we've had a lot of growth in the years, so we're a couple of years started our planning to expand the plants, the water plant, the sewer plant, and make line improvements through Lincoln County. So we're in that process, and then the plant's about half constructed here at the water plant, the improvements. So again, we're asking people to conserve water during the days because the heavy use of irrigation does impact the system. So the drier days are when we're looking for help on the irrigation because that is such a huge usage.
This seems to occur pretty much every summer. Summer, obviously, because of irrigation, I guess, is the big season. And then, of course, also people are topping off swimming pools and washing cars and so forth, which they've been asked to hold off on that for right now. Expanding the water plant, how is that going to change the situation?
Well, getting the water out to the into the system is important to us, so we're going to be trying to do a lot of improvements to the line work getting down 73. We're going to get improvements on that. Highway 16, we're doing improvements. We're also doing improvements out in the west at Reepsville Road, where we're going to be tying into the city of Lincolnton plant, again trying to produce more water and get it out into the system. So the plant expansion here is also again to increase production of water to get it out to the citizens.
The water and sewer rates both increased, and I'm sure some folks are, why the increase? My understanding is that the county had to set rates in such a way that it helped to show that the bonds that were issued could be paid for by the income from the water and sewer sales.
Well, a couple of years ago, there was a sewer district and the water utility under Lincoln County, so those were combined up into one enterprise fund, and they operate as a separate fund. So we did, as part of the CIP plan to improve the plants and on water and sewer, we had to do a study to come up with the size of the plant that we needed, look at alternatives, whether to buy more from the city or other alternatives for our water sources. And through that process, we came up with the 2 plant expansions, and so we're going through that process and did a Raftella study where they came and studied our rates, and we're going to take those rates and implement them over the next couple of years to again fund the bonds and repay the state revolving funds that'll pay for the plants and water line expansion.
Okay, in terms of water, where are we now and where will we be and when?
On the water side, we're increasing from 4 MGD to 8 MGDs per day. It's about a $14 million project here at the water plant, and we're probably 12 months from completing that project to double the size of the water plant capacity. And then on the sewer side, we also have a project there that will be bid out in about 2 or 3 months, and then we'll be doubling that plant capacity as well. That will be more like a 18-month project to complete the construction there. And you also see a lot of line work being done on Highway 73 in the near future, and then we'll be doing work on Highway 16 and St. James Road, and again Reepsville out in West Lincoln as we try to improve our line work in the county.
Obviously, the developments that have occurred have created more demand for water and sewer, but actually, even if we didn't add more, we're at a point right now where we're pretty much near what we can handle without these additional improvements.
Well, there was a slowdown in the economy, so when we saw that starting to turn around a couple of years ago, we started this process to study what alternatives we had to improve the system. And so last year we did approve about 15 new subdivisions that you see going in, and they're part of that allocation and part of our planning process. So not just we planning for these projects, we're also planning out 20, 30 years as part of all these studies.
For people who are already here, who have lived here for some time, what additional benefit will they see from the projects that are underway?
A lot of it's just provide redundancy too to improve our service. So we're providing some looping in the system. We're making another connection with the city of Lincolnton. So these improvements will just again provide reliability and be able to meet the demand in the future.
You mentioned some plans for areas west of Lincolnton. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, we have our system does extend all the way out into West Lincoln down 27, and so we're actually trying to improve our system out there and expand additional lines out there. So we are planning to tie into the city of Lincolnton and extend that line out Reepsville Road to tie into the western part of our zone, again to provide a better looping and redundancy for our system.
And what's the timetable on that project?
We're probably 80% design on that project, so we're hoping to bid it out in the next several months and start construction. And that one we actually went with a Clean Water State Revolving Fund loan, so that's being funded through a state fund for the construction at a lower interest rate.
The plant here, some people I know during years when we have had droughts, which we did a couple of years ago, were concerned because there's some places in the state where there was a problem with getting enough water from their water supply source, like a river and so forth. But our intakes here are deep enough into the lake that that usually, unless we had a long-term severe drought, not any kind of a problem.
Well, that comes down to more of a regional approach. We are part of the Catawba Water Management Group, which is about 19 utilities, and so we work together as a group to monitor the condition of the Catawba River, and again, that's more of a regional approach to try to do drought restrictions when there's a drought for across all the utilities. So that's more of a regional approach to try to prevent anybody from running out of water, any particular utility. So again, we're part of that whole group.